In the year 2417, Earth had finally joined the Galactic Union. After centuries of war, climate problems, and political fights, humanity was now part of something bigger, something peaceful. The Galactic Union, a giant organization of thousands of alien species, welcomed humans with open arms. To help Earthlings adjust to alien life, the Union started a cultural exchange program. The rules were simple. Humans and aliens would live together on space stations to learn about each other. Eat together, study together, live together, and hopefully, not fight. Jason Trent was not expecting to be chosen. He was a junior engineer from New Chicago. He liked old Earth cartoons, spicy noodles, and sleeping late. His dream job? Fixing small machines and avoiding responsibility. When he signed up for the program, it was just a joke with his friends. He didn't expect to win. But 2 weeks later, a silver letter arrived in the mail. Congratulations, Jason Trent. You have been selected for the Galactic Cultural Exchange Program. Jason blinked, then he laughed, then he panicked. 3 months later, Jason stepped off the shuttle and into Station Harmony, a massive orbital habitat floating above Saturn's rings. It looked like a spinning city made of glass and silver. There were walkways between towers, floating trains, and glowing plants hanging from the ceilings. Everything shimmered with soft light. He held onto his duffel bag and looked around, trying not to trip on the moving walkway. Aliens of all shapes and sizes passed by, some tall and thin, others small and round, with blinking eyes and strange colors. Jason felt like a kid on the first day of school. A floating drone approached him. "Jason Trent?" the drone asked in a cheerful voice. "Welcome to Station Harmony. Your living partner has already arrived. Please follow the light." A yellow trail of light appeared on the floor. Jason followed it, weaving through busy halls until he reached Unit 27B. The door opened with a soft beep. Inside was clean, quiet, and surprisingly normal, except for the 7-foot-tall alien standing by the window. The alien turned around slowly. He had smooth lavender skin, a tall, straight body, and large dark eyes with 3 pupils. His outfit was a long silver robe with small glowing symbols across the collar. He looked elegant and calm, like someone who read a lot of serious books. "Greetings, human Jason," the alien said. His voice was deep but gentle. "I am Tavarn, firstborn of the Sky Forest clan of Seraphis IV. I am pleased to share space and time with you." Jason blinked. Cool, I'm Jason. I brought some Earth snacks if you're into chips." Tavarn tilted his head slightly. "I do not know what chips are, but I accept this offering as a sign of mutual respect." Jason smiled. This was going to be weird, but maybe not so bad. The first few days were awkward. Jason tried to be friendly, but Tavarn was very formal. He didn't understand jokes or sarcasm. He asked many questions about human sleep habits, food flavors, and why humans watched shows about baking but never baked anything. Jason did his best to explain, but it was hard. Tavarn was smart, serious, and liked silence. Jason, on the other hand, talked too much when nervous and played music too loud when bored. Still, they managed. Tavarn cleaned up after himself. Jason stopped leaving socks on the table. They took turns cooking, though Tavarn's food tasted like cold jelly mixed with sand. Jason said it was interesting. Tavarn called his food adventurous. One evening, Jason sat in the common room watching old Earth cartoons. Tavarn watched quietly, confused but curious. "Why is the creature smashing fruit with its head?" Tavarn asked. Jason shrugged. "It's funny." Tavarn stared. "I believe I require more study." Then came the moment that changed everything. It was a normal morning. Jason had just finished a workout in the station's gym and headed back to the room for a quick shower. The hygiene chambers were automatic. Just walk in, and it cleaned everything in 30 seconds. High-tech stuff. Simple. Jason walked out of the chamber completely clean and completely naked. What he didn't know was that the privacy lock had malfunctioned. Tavarn walked in at that exact moment. Their eyes met. Jason froze. Tavarn froze, too. There was a long pause. Then Tavarn said very slowly, "This is a significant gesture." Jason yelped and ran back into the chamber, slamming the door. He stayed inside for 10 minutes, face red with embarrassment. How could this happen? Would Tavarn report him? Did he just break some alien law? But Tavarn didn't say anything else that morning. He made tea, sat down, and continued reading his diplomatic reports. Calm as always. Maybe it was fine. Jason didn't know it yet. But that small accident had already started something big. Something strange. Something very, very human. Jason didn't come out of the hygiene chamber for a full 20 minutes. He stood inside, leaning against the smooth silver wall, face burning with shame. The machine had already dried him off and dressed him in a soft station robe, but he couldn't stop thinking about what just happened. He had walked out naked, not a towel, not a sock. And Tavarn, his very serious alien roommate, had walked in at the exact same moment. Jason groaned into his hands. "I'm never showing my face again," he muttered. When he finally gathered enough courage to come out, he expected Tavarn to be furious, maybe standing tall and angry, or calling station security. Maybe delivering a calm but cold lecture on appropriate modesty between species. Instead, Tavarn was sitting at the small kitchen table, sipping a green liquid from a bowl. His face, as always, was unreadable, but he nodded politely when Jason entered the room. "Good morning, Jason." Jason blinked. Morning?" Tavarn placed his bowl down carefully. "I hope I did not cause distress. I walked in due to a malfunction in the room access system. I believe your hygiene lock was inactive." Jason scratched the back of his head. "Yeah, I kinda noticed." They both stood in silence. Jason coughed. "So, about what you saw?" Tavarn tilted his head. "It was unexpected, but informative." Jason raised his eyebrows. "Informative?" "Yes," Tavarn said calmly. "Human biology is more symmetrical than I assumed. Also, I now understand why you prefer warmer room temperatures." Jason didn't know whether to laugh or hide under the table. The rest of the day passed in strange quiet. Jason avoided eye contact. Every time he walked into the room, he felt like he was glowing red. Tavarn, on the other hand, seemed thoughtful, more thoughtful than usual. He didn't bring up the incident again, but he kept watching Jason as if trying to study him. That evening, while Jason was watching a documentary about Earth oceans, Tavarn sat down beside him holding a data tablet. "I have questions," Tavarn said. Jason paused the video. Sure?" Tavarn's three eyes focused. "When a human removes all clothing before another, is it a sign of personal invitation?" Jason almost choked on his drink. "Wait, what? No, that was an accident. Definitely. Not an invitation." Tavarn nodded slowly. "I see. On my planet, such an act is performed only during bonding rituals." Jason blinked. "Bonding? Yes. To show one's natural form is a powerful gesture. It symbolizes trust, openness, and emotional connection. Our culture views it as sacred." Jason's mouth dropped open. "Oh no," Tavarn continued. "I now understand this is not the same for humans, but at the time I believed you were proposing something." Jason's brain struggled to keep up. "You thought I was proposing? Like marriage?" Tavarn answered calmly. "Not marriage, a life-sharing agreement. It is similar but more permanent." Jason sank back into the couch. "This is officially the weirdest day of my life." After that conversation, things got even stranger. Tavarn started asking more personal questions. He wanted to know about human dating habits, why people gave flowers, and why chocolate was used in love movies. He even asked Jason to list Earth compliments. Jason tried to explain, but some things didn't translate well. "Why is you have nice eyes a compliment?" Tavarn asked. "Do eyes change in value?" "No," Jason replied. "It just means they're pretty. You know, attractive." Tavarn nodded seriously and wrote it down. Later that evening, Tavarn said to Jason, "Your oculars are attractive." Jason nearly dropped his tablet. "Wait, are you hitting on me?" "I am not striking you," Tavarn said, confused. No, hitting on mean flirting, like trying to get someone to like you." Tavarn looked thoughtful. "Yes then, I believe I am flirting, as you say." Jason stared. "Because of the naked thing?" Tavarn nodded. "Because you showed vulnerability. I respect that deeply." Jason didn't know what to say. His roommate was an alien diplomat and now possibly had a crush on him because of a hygiene chamber accident. Life in the Galactic Union was definitely not boring. The next morning, Jason found a strange object on the table. It was round, glowing, and pulsing with soft blue light. Beside it was a note written in perfect Earth standard. For Jason, a token of mutual understanding. "May we continue this journey of learning." Tavarn Jason touched the object. It played soft music like wind and water mixed together. It was beautiful. He smiled a little. Maybe it was weird. Maybe it was embarrassing. But maybe it was also the start of a strange friendship. Or something more. The gift from Tavarn sat quietly on the table, glowing with a soft blue light. Jason stared at it for a long time. It was strange, beautiful, and clearly meaningful. The music it played was peaceful and soothing. But Jason couldn't shake the feeling that something big had changed between him and his alien roommate. Was Tavarn just being friendly? Or was this some kind of romantic message? Jason didn't want to jump to conclusions, but it was getting harder to ignore the signs. Later that day, Jason visited the human counselor on the station. Every Earth participant had access to a support officer, just in case things got weird, and Jason's situation was definitely weird. The counselor, a kind woman named Dr. Lin, listened as Jason explained everything. The accident, Tavarn's reaction, the compliments, the glowing gift. Dr. Lin tapped her tablet and smiled. "Actually, this isn't the first time something like this has happened." Jason blinked. "Wait, what?" "Yes," she said. "Seraphians are a very formal species. Physical openness, like undressing or showing the body, is seen as a serious act of emotional trust. On their planet, that would be the first step toward a partnership." Jason felt his ears turn red. "So Tavarn really thought I was making a move?" "It's possible," Dr. Lin said. "Or at least he thought you were showing a deep personal bond." Jason slumped in his chair. "It was a hygiene accident." She smiled kindly. That doesn't mean it didn't mean something to him. Back at their room, things were changing. Tavarn started cooking more often and trying to include Earth ingredients in the meals. Jason once found a sandwich that glowed faintly in the dark. It tasted like bubblegum and seaweed. Tavarn also began leaving small notes for Jason. They were written in a mix of Seraphian script and Earth standard, always polite and curious. Do humans enjoy flowers because they are colorful, or because they are temporary? What is the purpose of a hug? Is it defensive or comforting? Would you like to attend a joining ritual on the observation deck? There will be music and floating lanterns. Jason had never felt so confused in his life. Eventually, he decided he needed to clear the air. One evening, as both sat in the common area, Jason put down his tablet and said, "Tavarn, we need to talk." Tavarn looked up calmly. "Of course." Jason scratched his head. "I think there's been a mix-up, a cultural confusion." Tavarn nodded slowly. "You are speaking of the event in the hygiene chamber." "Yeah. That," Jason said. "In human culture, being seen like that, without clothes, doesn't usually mean anything romantic. It was just an accident. I wasn't trying to send a message." Tavarn's eyes narrowed slightly, as if processing the idea. "So, you did not intend to show emotional trust?" Jason sighed. "I mean, I do trust you kind of, but not like relationship trust. More like roommate trust, you know?" There was a long pause. Then, to Jason's surprise, Tavarn smiled. "I understand now. Thank you for your honesty." Jason relaxed. "So, we're good?" Yes, Tavarn said. Although, I must admit I was honored. Your accident was seen by me as a unique gift, one not easily forgotten. Jason blushed. Well, thanks, I guess. Just when things started to calm down, everything got worse. The station's network picked up on their incident. Somehow, most likely through the station's gossip-loving maintenance bots, a short clip of Tavarn walking in on Jason, nothing. Graphic, just a blur and a surprised yell, was shared on the Galactic Social Hub, and then it went viral. The story was everywhere. Human makes bold move on Serafian roommate. Hashtags like naked diplomacy and brave earthling started trending. Jason's face was suddenly known across 5-star systems. Tavarn received a message from the Serafian consulate. Jason got a dozen interview requests. And strangers started waving at him in the hallway, some even trying to high-five him. Jason wanted to crawl under his bed and disappear. I just wanted a shower, he muttered to himself. That's all. But something unexpected happened, too. Not everyone laughed at the video. Some alien scholars called it a groundbreaking cultural moment. They said Jason's raw honesty was proof that humans could be trusted allies. Even the Galactic Union issued a statement calling the incident a surprising but welcome example of cross-species bonding. Jason was invited to speak on a student panel about emotional expression in human culture. Tavarn stood beside him, calm and proud. They were now unofficial symbols of accidental diplomacy. One night, as they looked out over Saturn's rings, from the observation deck, Jason turned to Tavarn. You ever think this all started because I forgot to lock the hygiene door? Tavarn gave one of his rare smiles. Sometimes the greatest journeys begin with mistakes. Jason chuckled. Yeah, guess we're on one now. Tavarn nodded. Together. Jason didn't ask for fame. One small accident and now aliens from 6 planets knew his name. He couldn't walk through Station Harmony without someone smiling, giving him a thumbs up or whispering, "That's the human from the video." Even some Serafians nodded at him with deep respect, as if he had performed some ancient ritual on purpose. Jason tried to stay calm about it. After all, the attention wasn't completely bad. His station reputation was now higher than ever. He had been invited to 3 cross-species dinner events, 1 interplanetary poetry night, and even got a personal thank you message from the Galactic Union's cultural director. Still, things were getting strange. One afternoon, while Jason was fixing a circuit panel in the training room, 2 other human crew members stopped by. Hey, is it true? One of them asked. Did you and your roommate really bond because of the hygiene thing? Jason sighed. No, it was an accident. I forgot to lock the door. But now he's your best friend? The second one asked, raising an eyebrow. Jason paused. That was a good question. Was Tavarn just a friend now? They spent time together every day. They talked, cooked, and even shared books. Tavarn had started watching Earth movies with him. He especially liked nature documentaries and slow dramas. And Jason had started wearing robes around the house, Serafian style, to make Tavarn feel more comfortable. Maybe something was changing. Later that evening, Jason returned to their shared living space and found Tavarn standing by the window, gazing out at the stars. You always look so serious, Jason said, dropping his bag. What's up? Tavarn turned to him slowly. I have received an offer. Jason blinked. From who? The Serafian Council, Tavarn replied. They wish to transfer me to the ambassador program on Venus Orbit Station. Jason sat down, feeling like the air had been knocked out of him. Wait, transfer? You'd leave Harmony Station? Yes, Tavarn said. They believe my experience with humans has made me a strong candidate for interspecies negotiation. Jason tried to smile, but it came out crooked. That's great, really great for you. Tavarn nodded. But I have not accepted. Jason looked up. Why not? Tavarn took a deep breath, something Jason had never seen him do before. Because of you. There was a long silence. Jason's heart started beating faster. Me? You have taught me more about humans than any program, lecture, or book, Tavarn said softly. And not just about your biology or customs. You showed me humor, kindness, chaos, emotion. Jason chuckled nervously. Well, I am a little chaotic. Tavarn stepped closer. I have come to value your presence greatly. I believe the bond we are forming is important. Jason's mouth felt dry. You mean like friendship? Tavarn paused. I mean, something deeper. Jason stood up slowly. His hands were shaking a little. Tavarn, I never expected this. When I came here, I thought I'd just fix machines and maybe learn how aliens drink tea. I didn't think I'd feel connection, Tavarn offered. Jason nodded. They both stood there, the stars of Saturn twinkling behind them. I don't know what this is yet, Jason said honestly, but I know I like being around you, and I don't want you to leave. Tavarn's eyes softened. Then I will stay, for now. Jason smiled. It was small at first. Then it grew. Good, he said, because I still have to teach you how to play board games. Tavarn tilted his head. Board games? Oh, it's a human tradition, Jason said with a grin. It involves luck, skill, and sometimes yelling. Tavarn looked serious. It sounds dangerous. I am interested. The next few days passed like a quiet dream. Tavarn turned down the ambassador offer for now, and the council respected his choice. They called it a time of personal growth. Jason taught Tavarn how to play a game called Star Maze, a simple puzzle game involving tokens and strategy. Tavarn won after only 2 rounds, then spent 3 hours explaining why his moves were based on long-term thinking and calculated randomness. Jason laughed for a full minute. They began spending evenings together watching Earth shows, with Tavarn asking serious questions like, why is the sponge wearing pants? Or, is this reality television actually real? Jason answered patiently, enjoying the curiosity. And sometimes, they just sat quietly side by side. One night, after a shared meal of stir-fried earth noodles and Seraphian crystal root stew, Tavarn placed a small glowing orb on the table. Jason recognized it. It was the same kind of gift from before. But this one was red. Tavarn looked at him. This color means choice. I offer it to you, if you feel the same. Jason touched the orb gently. It warmed under his fingers. I'm not an expert in your customs, Jason said quietly, but I think I'm ready to find out. Tavarn nodded, and for the first time since they met, he reached out and gently touched Jason's hand. After, Jason accepted the red, glowing orb. Things between him and Tavarn changed. Not in a loud or dramatic way. Nothing exploded. No one made big speeches. But something was different. Something soft and warm, like music playing quietly in the background. They were still roommates. They still cleaned their small living unit, made jokes about strange food, and argued about movie endings. But now sometimes they sat closer. Their hands touched longer, and the silence between them no longer felt empty. It felt comfortable. It was not love at first sight. It was understanding built slowly, like a bridge made from tiny stones placed one by one. Tavarn began to open up more. He told Jason about his home planet, Seraphis, a world of blue forests, silver mountains, and floating lakes. He described family dances, light ceremonies, and how every Seraphian child carved their name into the bark of a glowing tree at the age of 8. Jason shared stories of his small town in Texas. He talked about hot summers, ice cream trucks, and how he once got stuck in a fence trying to rescue a cat. Tavarn listened carefully. He didn't laugh out loud, but his eyes shone with interest. You were brave, he said after the story. I was 12 and panicking, Jason replied. Still brave, Tavarn said. But not everything was perfect. The more their bond grew, the more the outside world noticed. One day, Jason received a message from Earth Command. It was polite but serious. Human-Seraphian interaction has reached Level 4 Intimacy Protocol. Please report for cultural review. Jason frowned. Level 4? What does that mean? He went to Dr. Lin, the counselor, again. She explained gently. The Galactic Union tracks cross-species emotional connections, she said. Level 4 means emotional bonding with potential long-term effects on both parties. Jason leaned back in his chair. So now it's a problem? Not a problem, Dr. Lin said carefully. But it's rare, and rare things draw attention. The next few days were quiet. Jason didn't tell Tavarn about the message, not yet. He didn't want to scare him. But Tavarn noticed the change. You are quiet, he said one evening. More than usual. Jason tried to smile. Just thinking. Tavarn didn't press. Instead, he placed a hand gently on Jason's shoulder. When you are ready, I will listen. Those words sat in Jason's heart like a soft weight. He wasn't used to someone waiting like that. Most people wanted answers. Tavarn offered time. That weekend, they attended a station festival. It was called the Unity Bloom, a day when all species on Harmony Station shared food, music, and memories. Jason wore a deep blue robe, a gift from Tavarn. Tavarn wore a silver sash across his shoulders, symbolizing his connection to another being. They walked side by side through glowing lanterns, steam-filled food stalls, and colorful art booths. An Andari artist offered to draw their soul connection in light paint. They agreed, and within minutes the artist created a floating image of two figures, one human, one Seraphian, standing in a circle of stars, their hands glowing where they touched. Jason stared at the image. It's beautiful, he whispered. Tavarn nodded. It is true. Later that night, Jason finally told Tavarn about the message from Earth Command. Tavarn was quiet for a long time. I see, he said. Jason felt a cold knot in his stomach. Are you upset? No, Tavarn said. I am aware. Our bond is strong. That makes it noticeable. Jason sighed. They think it might affect our missions, our roles. They're not saying it's bad, just different. Tavarn placed a hand on Jason's. Then let them watch. Let them learn. We will not change who we are for comfort. Jason looked at him. You're not scared? I am many things, Tavarn replied, but fear is not one of them, not when I am with you. The next morning, Jason woke up to find a small plant growing in their common room. It hadn't been there the night before. It had silver leaves and a soft, glowing root. A tag was placed next to it. Unity plant, symbol of cross-species growth. May it thrive. No name, no note, just the gift. Jason turned to see Tavarn sitting by the window watching Saturn's rings again. Jason walked over and sat beside him. You think we're doing the right thing? He asked softly. Tavarn didn't look away from the stars. Yes, because even if the path is strange, we are walking it together. Jason nodded. Then, for the first time, he leaned his head against Tavarn's shoulder. And together, in silence, they watched the universe turn. Life on Harmony Station was peaceful. Until it wasn't. After the Unity Festival, Jason and Tavarn became quiet celebrities. Their picture, taken by the Andari artist, was shared across several systems. Many aliens admired it, calling it a symbol of cross-species unity. Others didn't understand and asked too many questions. Then came the news. The Galactic Union announced that Jason and Tavarn had been selected to appear on an interstellar broadcast, a show about cultural harmony and emotional understanding. It was meant to show different species learning from one another, sharing traditions and, if possible, forming strong bonds. Jason almost choked on his cereal when he saw the message. A show? Like, with cameras? Tavarn calmly sipped his glowing tea. Yes, many species will watch. Some may learn. Jason laughed nervously. Or they'll laugh at us. Laughter is a beginning, Tavarn said. So is curiosity. Before the broadcast, a team of communication experts arrived at the station. They interviewed Jason and Tavarn separately, asking about their story. How did your bond begin? One asked. Jason scratched his head. I forgot to lock the door to the shower room. They blinked. And after that? Jason smiled. We listened. Learned. Tried not to mess things up too badly. Tavarn gave very different answers. His words were thoughtful and poetic. Our connection began not in the moment of surprise, but in the honesty that followed. The crew loved that quote. They used it in the preview trailer. Suddenly, Jason was the human with the accidental heart, and Tavarn was the calm, wise alien with glowing eyes. The day of the broadcast came quickly. The show was filmed in the station's cultural hall. There were soft lights, floating cameras, and gentle background music. An elegant insectoid host from the planet Cyralis welcomed the audience. Jason sat on a curved chair next to Tavarn, both wearing ceremonial robes. Jason's was navy blue, with silver stars, and Tavarn's was dark violet with patterns shaped like vines. The host asked them questions. What surprised you most about each other? Jason grinned. Tavarn's cooking. He once made soup that tasted like fireworks. And what about Jason? The host asked Tavarn. Tavarn gave a small smile. He sings while cleaning, loudly. It is strange, but joyful. The audience laughed kindly. The broadcast went smoothly, until the final question. Do you think your connection is strong enough to be an example for others? Jason froze. That question felt heavy, like a weight in the air. Tavarn looked at him, silent, but steady. Jason took a deep breath. I don't know if we're an example, he said slowly. We didn't plan this, we made mistakes, we had awkward moments, but we tried. We respected each other, and we learned to care. Tavarn added, the path is not perfect, but it is ours, and we walk it with open hearts. The host smiled. A beautiful answer. Thank you. After the show, the feedback came fast. Messages poured in from viewers, aliens and humans alike. Many thanked them for being open. Others shared stories of their own experiences with people from different worlds. A human named Layla wrote, I was scared to talk to my Jalari co-worker. After seeing your story, I invited her for tea. We're friends now. A young Seraphian said, I thought humans were careless, but now I see their strength is in feeling. Jason read every message. Some made him smile. Some made him tear up. We're helping people, he whispered. Tavarn nodded. One story at a time. But not everyone was happy. A few high-ranking officials from the Seraphian Council and Earth Command were concerned. They believed emotions could cloud judgment. They wanted strict limits on personal involvement between crew members of different species. One document called the bond between Jason and Tavarn a potential risk to station neutrality. Jason read it aloud and sighed. Neutrality? We're not starting a war. We just care. Tavarn's face grew serious. They fear what they do not understand. Jason stood up. Then we help them understand. Together, they wrote a letter. It wasn't long or fancy, just honest. They talked about respect, about learning across differences, about how small moments like shared meals, quiet talks, and yes, even accidents, can lead to something meaningful. They signed it together and submitted it to the Galactic Union's Cultural Council. It was published publicly, and it was read by millions. The next day, they received a message from the Union's Ambassador of Peace. Thank you. Your words have reached many. We invite you to represent the New Harmony project designed to support mixed-species friendships and relationships across stations. Jason's hands shook as he read the message. We're not just roommates anymore, he whispered. Tavarn placed a hand on his. No, we are something more. The Harmony Project was more than just a program. It became a movement. Across stations, ships, and even small outposts on moons and asteroids, beings from different species began to share more openly. Walls of fear and doubt started to fall. Jason and Tavarn weren't just seen as an odd pair anymore. They were seen as pioneers. But while others saw them as symbols, they still felt like two people trying to live their daily life. One quiet morning, Jason stood in front of the mirror, fixing his collar. He had been invited to speak at a human Seraphian cultural summit. his first major speech. Tavarn entered the room, holding a small metal pin. "It's a Seraphian bond crest," Tavarn said softly. "Worn when one walks with another in truth." Jason's eyes widened. "You want me to wear it?" Tavarn tilted his head. "Only if you choose to. No pressure. No expectation. Just trust." Jason took the pin. His fingers trembled slightly, but his smile was steady. "Then, I'll wear it." At the summit, beings from over 40 species filled the hall. The walls shimmered with glowing symbols of peace. Jason stepped onto the platform, his heart beating fast. He didn't read from a paper. He spoke simply. "I didn't come to space to become anyone special. I came to do a job. But then I met Tavarn, and everything changed. Not because he's alien, but because he saw me. Truly saw me. And I saw him. And we didn't run away from that." There was silence in the room. Deep, thoughtful silence. Jason continued. "We make mistakes. We learn. We grow. That's not a human thing or a Seraphian thing. That's just being alive. Together." When he stepped down, people clapped. Some stood. Even a few Seraphian elders gave a nod of respect. Later that night, Jason and Tavarn returned to their quarters, tired but content. Jason flopped onto the couch. "Did you see that one Farini ambassador crying?" "I did," Tavarn said. "Farini tears are made of silver. Very rare." Jason grinned. "Guess we're fancy now." Tavarn sat beside him. "We are us. That is enough." They sat, in silence, just listening to the quiet hum of the station. But the peace didn't last long. A solar storm approached, stronger than any seen in years. Harmony Station would soon enter a high-risk orbit. Power could go out. Communication systems might fail. Everyone was ordered to prepare for emergencies. Jason and Tavarn were assigned to the lower levels, helping guide new arrivals to safe zones. The station lights flickered as the storm hit. People panicked. Some shouted. Some ran the wrong way. Jason kept calm. He held a small girl's hand as she cried. "It's okay. We're going to a safe place." Tavarn's voice echoed through the halls, calm and steady. "Please follow the lights. Breathe, slowly. You are not alone." Together, they guided over 200 beings to safety. Later, deep in the station's control core, power systems began to overload. A coolant leak threatened the backup generator. Jason looked at Tavarn. "We can fix it, but someone needs to go inside and reroute the power manually." "It is dangerous," Tavarn said. "I know," Jason replied. "But I can do it." Tavarn paused, then reached into his coat and pulled out a small glowing crystal. "If you get lost, press this. It will pulse. I will find you." Jason took it. "Always looking out for me?" "Always," Tavarn said. Inside the core chamber, heat pressed in like a heavy blanket. Sparks flew. Jason moved fast, remembering every lesson from engineering class. He reached the panel, flipped the switch, and the lights returned. Power was back. The station was safe. But then, a pipe burst above him. Steam poured down. Jason dropped the crystal. Tavarn, waiting outside, saw the warning flash on the screen. He didn't hesitate. He ran inside. Minutes later, the doors opened again. Tavarn stepped out, carrying Jason in his arms. Medics rushed forward. Jason was coughing but awake. "You came for me," he said weakly. "Of course," Tavarn whispered. "You are my bond." 3 days later, Jason was back on his feet. The station was stable, people were safe, and the story of their rescue spread across the galaxy. A famous journalist called them the Heart of Harmony. Jason laughed at that. "I'm just a guy with messy hair and bad luck," Tavarn replied. "Perhaps, but also a man who never gives up." The story ended the way it began, not with explosions or huge events, but with two people sitting on a couch, sharing silence, laughter, and tea. The silverleaf plant in the corner had bloomed. Its petals sparkled like stars. Jason smiled at it. Think it's happy? Tavarn nodded. It is growing. Like us. Jason leaned back. Guess we're staying here for a while. Tavarn looked at him, eyes glowing softly. Wherever you are, that is home. And above them, beyond the glass window, the stars continued to spin, endless, beautiful, and full of stories yet to be written.